All right, guys. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Richie is getting connected right now as we speak.
Here we are. We've got the priest shirts on and everything.
There's my guy. How you doing this morning?
I didn't put on this T-shirt for nothing.
I've got management calling me up. Where late? You're late. You're late. He's called. How do I end this? And he can. Anyway.
It's all good. Now, I will tell you this. We can hear you, but your screen is frozen up. Can you hear us okay?
Fantastically, yeah.
Okay, cool deal. Well, hey, thanks for jumping on an early Monday morning. We appreciate you being here. Richie Faulkner, everyone is waiting for you in the room. They're anxiously awaiting. We have much to talk about with you, including Elegant Weapons, the recent release of your Custom V, which we're super excited about. But I first want to get some comments and thoughts from you. Let me put this up on the screen. Can you? I hope you can see this on your end. You guys just got added to the Power Trip Festival. You're taking Ozzy Osbourne's spot on Saturday night, October 7th. Tell me about getting that call and what being part of a festival like this means to you guys.
I mean, just looking at that bill, just looking at the names up there, that's legendary. I mean, obviously with Ozzy up there as well, it's legendary, you know, but Guns N' Roses, Iron Maiden, AC/DC, Metallica, Tool, Judas Priest. I mean, that's one for the ages, isn't it? That's just like, That's just so good to be a part of. When we got the call from management and they told us about the Ozzy situation, obviously we're concerned about Ozzy's health and stuff, but we're happy to take that flag and be there and, you know, hold up the name of heavy metal, you know, and be there as Judas Priest and fly the flag, you know. It's just such a great festival and great roster of names there. It's definitely one for the ages. We can't wait to do it.
It's almost like you guys feel like you guys have, you know, got your flowers, you know. It's like you guys deserve this. You guys have done all the hard work, and so here's your flowers. You get to be part of this huge thing, and deservingly so.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, you guys are second choice. We'll call you after the fact. No, I'm only joking. But again, it's just an honor to be part of it. We're honored to be at the end of the phone. You know, when they need us, we'll be there, and it's going to be a rocking few days of metal and hard rock.
Absolutely. Let me put it up one more time. Everybody needs to go to this. When, again, are you going to have a chance to see this caliber of bands all at the same festival? Get your tickets at powertrip.live. What an amazing time that's going to be. Let's get into Elegant Weapons. Richie, this is such a great band, and you guys' release, Horns for a Halo, is so good. The first thing I want to ask you about this is, when I listen to Elegant Weapons, it reminds me of taking all of the best elements of hard rock and metal, putting them in a blender and spinning it around, and then the end product is this wonderful sound that you guys have created. In your own words, how do you describe Elegant Weapons' sound?
I mean, I think you just did. I think that should have been the album cover, to be honest with you. A big blender. That would have been amazing. I think I've got to do a poster with that image going on. That you hit the nail on the head, really. I mean, it was really important for me to incorporate all the influences that make up me as a guitar player and a songwriter. I mean, I think it would have been disingenuous to do anything else. You know, this is who I am, we are as a band. This is where we come from.
Right.
And be unashamedly, you know, proud of those influences while being a record that's relevant in 2023. I think that's what this record is.
Yeah.
I think everyone tries to do that. You know, not everyone, but people try to do that. But, you know, for some reason, it seems to be hitting the right notes with people. We just kind of do what we felt was right, if that makes sense.
Certainly.
With the influences that we grew up on and where we are now. I love the blender image. I've got to put that in the memory bank for later on.
There you go.
I'll have to give you a commission. I have to give you a percentage.
Well, Ronnie certainly sounds amazing on it. You know, we saw him when he was with Michael Schenker, and he was on the Wasp tour, and he just sounded amazing. That was the first time I got to see him live. So that was an amazing choice of a vocalist for you. Yes. And the fact that Andy also produced this album, you know, that's some, you know, familiar territory for you, you know, as producer for Priest. What was it like producing this Elegant Weapons album with him? What was that like?
Well, me and Andy, we communicate either via text or FaceTime or calls every day. Like, if not every day, every other day. We're like, there you go, there's a picture of us both there. We're like a married couple sometimes. You see the Elegant Weapons record, the Priest record, guitars, amplifiers, effects pedals, sonic, you know, whatever it is, we're always communicating. So me and Andy are really close like that. So it was imperative really to have him as a producer on that level. Mm-hmm. And also, you know, those influences that we were just talking about. Andy grew up on the same music that we did in that regard. Right. But he's also a producer that's making records in 2023. So it's a no-brainer. He's perfect. He's going to bring those influences out while not making it sound like a retro record. It's going to sound like a modern record while containing the influences that are important to us. And you mentioned Ronnie. Ronnie's the same. When we spoke about Ronnie's voice is the same. You can hear that pedigree. You can hear that lineage. You can hear those influences, but he's a modern day singer. And all those elements are the same. The band, my influences, Andy's, Ronnie's, and everyone else in the band, really. You can hear the lineage and the influences, but we're all modern, quote unquote, modern artists trying to make modern music with those influences shining through. So everyone was a no-brainer to me, and I'm fortunate enough to have them with me in the team.
Right.
You had Scott Travis on drums on the recording of the album, I believe, and also Rex Brown from Pantera. Explain to me what prescribed that for you guys to bring those two guys in, and then bring into some other guys to actually do the touring.
Well, this was really put together during the lockdowns of the pandemic. You know, remember when there was no touring going on whatsoever? No one was out on the road. So the priority really was to record the record, because we didn't know if we were going to take it out on the road. We didn't know if anyone was going to be out on the road again, you know. So I've always promised Scott Travis that if I ever did anything outside of Judas Priest, that I'd give him the first call. And again, fortunately, he was available to do the record. Mm-hmm. And Rex as well. I called up Rex, a friend of mine. And it just so happens these guys are legends. You know what I mean? They've been around for the last 30 years making crushing, influential music. And I'm just lucky enough to have them at the end of a phone line to ask if they can join me and Ronnie on the record. Luckily, they said yes, and they put their sounds down on the record, and I couldn't be more grateful, you know.
Right.
Moving forward, the world opens up, fortunately, and everyone's back out on tour. Rex goes back out with Pantera. They're dominating the world at the moment, which is fantastic. Scott's doing a couple of other things, so I had to look to another couple of guys that I know to take the band forward. And a good friend of mine, Christopher Williams from Accept, Davey Rimmer from Uriah Heep. I've known Davey for 25 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get the best people you can for the job, and they're fantastic guys, great musicians, and they've got that element as well. They come from legacy bands. They've got that influence. But they, you know, we maybe moving forward, carrying the torch from those legacy bands. When Priest or Uriah Heep or whoever it might be aren't around anymore, we can take that DNA forward to the next generation. And so, yeah, they were luckily enough they were on board with me, and we're moving forward in the future.
That leads to my next question. As you were assembling Elegant Weapons, did you have the thought in the back of your mind of, you know, reality is what it is, and Judas Priest, you know, it probably won't be around for as long as you would like to be out there playing? Did you have in the back of your mind of this is my future and I'm going to build this upon that thought?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've always, whatever band I've done in the past has always had that element, really. Whether it's transpired to live out that wish or not is another thing, you know. But I think I always get into a band and thinking this is going to be, you know, my career, so to speak.
Right.
When I joined Priest, it was in 2011, and it was on the Epitaph tour. It was on the farewell tour. So I started thinking about things then, because it was very real that the band were going to retire then. fortunately, that's not the case. We're still around 12 years later, putting out new music, still touring the world, and the world's a better place for it. But at least thinking about what I could be doing after the fact was a priority. And, you know, personally in my life, there's been a couple of things that have happened where it makes you think, you know, nothing lasts forever.
Right.
So you better think about what you're going to do in this case after the fact. Should I ever get that call, you know, Priest, call it a day maybe, what am I going to do after? And this ticks all the boxes for me. This is who I am as a guitar player and a songwriter,
Certainly.
that I could see it through after the fact.
Certainly.
Do you think there will be some plans in the near future for some, you know, there's so many farewell tours for so many bands, you know, the Sabbath, Kiss, so many bands are doing these farewell tours. Is that something you see in the foreseen future for Judas Priest?
I don't think, I mean, obviously at some point there will be a final tour by design, you know, no one can go on forever, but I don't think it will be billed as the final tour. I think, I mean, they've already done that one.
Right.
You know, so I don't think it will have that experience, but you know, we'll see what the future holds. Obviously, they've been around for over 50 years. They've put out some fantastic music, and the music will live on long after we're all gone. So
certainly,
you know, they're legends. So whenever they decide to retire, Priest will live on forever.
Well, Elegant Weapons, you know, you just finished your European tour, and I guess you did the festival, the Return of the Gods festival, which probably had to be amazing for you. You know, with Judas Priest, you went as a 4-piece. You know, Andy, you toured with Andy, and then you went as a 4-piece, and then you brought him back. Are things comfortable with you guys now back as a 5-piece?
Yeah, we never actually we never actually went out as a 4-piece in the end. The internet told us what they wanted,
right,
or
right.
what they didn't want, more appropriately.
Right.
You know, again, luckily, the internet can be a harsh mistress sometimes.
Yes.
But Priest are such a beloved entity that, you know, people care about the band. This is what they want from a band like Priest. They care, they're passionate, and they let us know. And boy, did they let us know. So we reversed that decision. We listened, and we went out. We gave Andy a call and explained things, and we went out on the 50th anniversary tour with Andy Sneap, and Andy Sneap's still there. So all's well that ends well.
That's
well,
perfect.
That's great.
Hey, let's move on and talk about the Custom V, because a lot of musicians watch our show, and I know they want us to get into a little bit of gear talk with you. So let me put this up. Absolutely beautiful custom guitar put out by Gibson. Your Flying V, the Pelham Blue, it is beautiful. And the really exciting news for you is that the first batch sold out in less than 24 hours. Now, inquiring minds want to know, is another batch of product planning? Are you guys planning to release more?
Yeah, there's 100. They're limited to 100 pieces, and the first batch sold out, as you said, in the first day, which is incredible.
Yes.
But yeah, they have released. That was the first batch, and they've released the rest of the 100. So they are available through different outlets, through Gibson, through different outlets. You know, if you look online or look on your local guitar dealer, hopefully they've got one. But they are out there. It's just the first batch that sold out, and then they restocked with the rest of the 100. So don't worry, there's still some out there.
Okay.
But I hasten to add, I'm looking at one of the prototypes now. I mean, it is a beautiful thing. Seeing that photo there, that blue V is like, it's my friend there. You know what I mean? That's my buddy. I miss him. But I will say, for each sale of the guitar, my portion of the proceeds go towards two charities that are close to my heart, no pun intended. It's the John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health, which is obviously, you know, specific to what happened to me.
Yes.
And also the American Heart Association, which is more broad in terms of heart health and heart care awareness. So it's obviously, it was a case of, it was a chance for me to give back and raise awareness through, you know, a guitar. That's a magical thing for me. If someone can get a guitar, that's connected with me and support those charities and raise awareness, could hopefully save lives in the future, was a magical thing. So I just wanted to point that out.
That is so great. I mean, that is such a wonderful thing. And this leads us perfectly. I know you have recounted the event a lot, but for the benefit of our viewers and listeners who maybe haven't had a chance to hear your story, take us back to that night, September 26, 2021, when you're on stage. What memories do you have as this starts happening to you? Do you remember thinking in your mind, wow, something is very wrong here?
Yeah, I did. I was confused, really. There was something happened, and I wasn't sure what it was, as you can imagine. Something in that area of the body is quite. There's not a lot. I mean, there's not a lot it could be there. That, you know, I thought it was a heart attack, to be honest with you. When it first exploded, things started getting a bit hazy. I started feeling a bit faint. I got very weak, but I didn't know, you know. So you don't know these things. So I carried on playing, finished the set. Because what you do know at the time is that there's 30,000 people out there. They're all there to see the band. That's what you're there to do. That's what I know. So I'm going to do that. Everything else really is secondary, and it nearly killed me. But luckily, that was the last song of the set, and I was able to come off stage, and there were medics there. The medics took me to the hospital, which luckily was 3 miles away. I mean, it was one of those things where things aligned. And I went in for an 11-hour life-saving surgery, and they saved my life that night. So you go from, you know, rocking painkiller, and then literally 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, you're in the hospital getting opened up for open heart surgery, and they're saving your life. It was one of those things that no one could have predicted, and luckily I'm talking to you about it today.
No kidding.
And we love you, and you know, we had a chance to see you in Tulsa on the Firepower tour, and you did an amazing job. So I know how much all that energy that you put out on the stage for the fans, and so we're all blessed and lucky to have you still alive with us, so we can enjoy your music. And you know, thanks, to go with your health as well. You know, Glenn has been dealing with some health issues as well. How is he feeling, and how's the recording of the album? Is he doing okay with all that?
He seems to be doing okay, you know, under the circumstances, as you can imagine. I spoke to Glenn via email actually this morning. We were talking about the running order for the track listing of the album, you know. So that's where the album's at. So it's been recorded. It's pretty much mixed now, and we're just trying to decide what order the tracks should go. It's a really important thing, you know. If you put the tracks in the wrong order, it's like a movie. If you edit the movie in the wrong order, it loses its potency. So it's got to be right. So that's the stage we're at. Okay. So it's pretty close. Then we've got to obviously manufacture the thing. The record label's got to manufacture the packaging and the artwork and the vinyl and get it out there. So that takes a little bit of time. But as far as the creative and the recording and everything like that, it's pretty much almost finished, shall we say.
Do you have a working title for it yet, or?
We do, yeah, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Oh, come on!
What's the tentative release date? Maybe you don't have a specific date, but kind of a window.
Well, I don't think we have a specific one, but I mean, we could work out between the three of us. I think if we handed it into the record label today,
right? I
think vinyl takes 6 months at least to actually make. You know, there's a backlog of vinyl, so we can work out what the earliest is going to be, put it that way. So I think it'll probably be early 24. I would say I won't get fired for that, but I think that's a safe estimation to say it's going to be early 24.
Richie, what's amazing about you is you when you joined this band, from a friend that reached out to these guys, and then they got in touch with you, and then you were on stage with American Idol, and then you're like part of the writing team with these guys. I mean, your contributions to Judas Priest with your writing skills, you get the credits now, and that's just, a lot of guys that join these type of bands, they don't have the right, have the writing, credits like you do. What is your writing bring to these guys for, the firepower was amazing, but
Yeah.
do you have a lot of writing credits with these guys? Do you do a lot of writing with them?
Well, first of all, that's a testament, I think, to them and their attitude towards the new guy in the band and the band as a whole. I think they always said to me initially they didn't want a hired gun. They wanted someone in the band with their own ideas and
Right.
their own opinions. And this is a testament to that. They've always been like that. I've always got tons of ideas, good and bad, and you have to sift through the bad to get through the good. And that's the quote unquote good. That's always the way. They've just been gracious enough to give me the opportunity to have that outlet with them and learn from them in the studio with the 2 records and the third one now. What do they do? How do they write? How do they create? How do we write together? It's an education every time you go in there. So hopefully your writing gets better every time, or there's a new experience you want to explore with your writing next time. They've always been proponents of, they want the next record to be different from the last one. They've never repeated the same record, I don't think. So that's an interesting thing going in as a writer. How can we do things differently, but the same heart, Fundamentally, it's the same band. It sounds like Priest, but how do we do another branch of the tree? That's a challenge, and one that you can only rise to. And thanks to them for giving me that opportunity.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Kind of staying in the recording vein, I want to talk briefly about your guitar tone itself. I don't think there's a better heavy metal guitar tone out there.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think it's absolutely perfect. When it comes to recording and getting that perfect tone on the album, I don't know how much Andy has to do with that. Obviously you have a lot to do with it, but when you guys go in and record and you're looking to achieve that perfect tone that you seem to get, is the process of the recording, obviously you probably layer many tracks, but how do you guys go about achieving such an incredible tone?
Well, for me, there's usually 2 parts to it. The tone that I record with is something that inspires me in the room, in the studio. I'll fire up something that I like to hear, that I like to feel, that sounds familiar to me, that enables me to play the way that I want to play.
Right.
And I record two inputs. So I record the amplifier and I record a direct input. So I can send both of those to Andy, and he gets the amplifier that I recorded, and he gets a clean sound, so he can put it through amplifiers at his end.
Gotcha.
So there's two parts to it. Sometimes he'll use the amplifier sound that I used, and a lot of the times he will set up a bank of amplifiers at his studio, and he'll A/B them and try different amplifiers and combinations that work for him in the context of the band. Because obviously when I'm doing it, all I listen to is guitar. I've got these massive guitars, and maybe the drums and everything is down here, where he's listening to it in a context of a full band spectrum. So he needs something to cut through,
Right.
something to sit where it needs to sit. So that's a long-winded answer there, but that's the way it usually happens. But he comes from the same school of amplifiers as I do, like the Marshall JCM 800, or there's the PV 5150, the classic amplifiers that have been around for the last best part of 50 years.
Right.
And Priest have been using since the 70s. So it all stems from that, really, both on my end and his end.
Yeah, so cool. You guys were recently inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Finally,
Yes.
you guys were there. You played live, and you got to play with KK. What was that like for you? I mean, you guys looked great together, rocking out. But was that just an amazing feeling to be up on stage with those guys?
It was. I mean, just seeing those pictures there now, like, it brings it all back. I haven't seen them for a while. We did look good. Look at those flying V's and the leather and the hair. That's some cool stuff right there. I mean, obviously I didn't get inducted. I'm not eligible yet, but I mean, Priest were adamant that I was part of the band representing Judas Priest in 2023.
Absolutely.
And again, it goes back to that that mindset that they had right at the beginning. They wanted someone who's part of the band, and you know, I loved them for that. But to be up there, Priest have always been a 2-guitar attack, and for one night only, it was a 3-guitar attack, and I was part of it. So I was like a bull. I don't know what to say without cursing, but I was really happy to be there. Let's say. So just being up there with Ken and Glenn together, playing those classic tunes as part of a legacy act when they got inducted to the Hall of Fame was just incredible and a huge honor to be there.
You know, you were mentioning how wild the internet can be, you know, with their opinions and everything. And it was already, you know, pretty wild about KK rejoining Priest and everything, you know, with Glenn's health and everything. And there was a lot of, you know, stuff going back and forth with everything. With the performance at Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, did that increase the rumors and everything and the, you know, internet?
Yeah, I think it did. I think it was bound to. I think everyone was hopeful, you know, myself included, really.
Yeah.
That there was a chance that, you know, those guys getting back together like that for the first time in 12 years, playing together, playing live, with the significance of the Rock Hall of Fame, was there going to be a chance? Is there some sort of reconciliation? Obviously, the internet takes a little spark like that and makes a fire with it. Of course, that's what the internet does. Unfortunately, it seems it wasn't to be. But again, just having that opportunity to see the band together like that. Also with Les Binks as well, you know, not forgetting Les Binks on drums. He was responsible for some of those fantastic drum tracks in the 70s.
Absolutely.
But seeing the band all together like that was just a fantastic thing. Even if it was for just one night, us, the fans, we got to experience that, and you know, I'm grateful for it.
That's so cool.
Certainly.
That's so cool. Now you're talking about the release of the new album. Are there plans for a tour? And, you know, you guys always throw out your surprises, especially on the Firepower tour. And you had Saints in Hell, and you brought that song out. Are there any surprises for this, maybe an upcoming tour, for any cool new songs you're going to put out?
There usually is, as you said. You're right. You know, we're always looking at new ways of presenting a new experience, like on the records, really. How can we do it differently? How can we make a different experience than the last time? Different songs, different set lists. Obviously, we might have a new record by then, so we'll have to incorporate some new tracks from that.
Right.
And then we can sift through the tapestry that is Priest's musical career and maybe pull out some songs we haven't played for a long time. We always do that. You know, we haven't played this for a while. We haven't played this at all, like Saints in Hell, as you mentioned. And see what we can do to make it an exciting time. So there's usually some surprises. We just got to wait and see what those surprises will be.
Sure. Hey, we're going to start wrapping it up with you. We're so appreciative of your time this morning. I do want to ask you, for those who don't know, you are actually married to George Lynch's daughter, Mariah. Am I saying her name right? Mariah? Is that correct?
Mariah, yes.
So how did you two meet? Because one guitar legend marries into another guitar legend's family. How did this union occur?
It was all planned, you know. I'm a big George Lynch fan, and I used his daughter to get to him. No,
there you go.
I was actually. I've told him this as well. I was actually I wasn't really exposed a lot to the Dokken and Lynch Mob sort of stuff. It wasn't really my bag, really. You know, George radar because of obviously his guitar playing. I mean, it's undeniable, but I wasn't really into the music.
Right.
But I met Mariah at a gig. Priest gig. I had mirror aviators on at night, and she thought I was a total Wally. But a few years later, we got it together, and she, you know, I took the aviators off, and maybe that was what did it. But no, we've obviously with George. When George comes around, we always talk about guitars and our influences, and he's a big Priest fan as well. You know, so he loves. I mean, I think at one stage he even like had the blonde flecks in his hair like Glenn had. You know,
right.
I don't know if that was intentional or not, but he'd probably say it was.
Imagine being a fly on a wall, like during a Christmas dinner, with you guys.
Man, amazing.
He might be Go ahead.
You get totally bored. It's just like total guitar nerdery.
Oh, we love that, man.
It's brilliant fun. What inspires us, and gadgets and pedals and amplifier circuits and different tubes. It's like it gets wiring circuits for different guitars from different years. It gets nutty. Not for this show anyway, but he's a great guy and a really unorthodox player, a bit like Glenn in the sense that you can tell it's him. He's one of those guys. It was like Vai, Satriani, Van Halen, Lynch. He was one of the. There's a few more obviously, but he was one that had his own style and still does. And when he plays, you can even see that it's his hands. You can hear and see that it's George Lynch. He's very recognizable in sound, so that's an incredible thing to have.
Certainly.
He probably sends his daughter text messages to critique Richie's playing.
Oh, let's hope.
Tell him to work on his scales.
No.
Oh, no doubt.
I don't think that happens at all.
About it.
And you're the proud father of a toddler. How's your daughter doing?
She's doing very well. She just had her 3rd birthday party, so it was the usual princess extravaganza in 90-degree heat, which she loves. She had a dress and a crown, and she had Princess Elsa and Belle come and say hello, and it was an extravaganza. So she loves it.
That's
she's
what
doing
you
very
do.
well. Thanks for asking.
That's what you do as a father.
Well, we certainly want to congratulate you joining the the daughter, of course, and joining the Power Trip Festival. I think that's going to be amazing for all metal fans. What's your most challenging Judas Priest song to play live?
That's a great question. I'll tell you what it is. It's not one of the fast ones. It's not an overly technical one or a fast song, anything like that. It's beyond the realms of death, and I'll tell you why. That guitar solo has to be note for note perfect every night. And it's right out there in front. There's nothing else happening. It's a big Glenn Tipton solo. It means a lot. It has to be a certain way. And if you put one note wrong, the whole arena knows it.
Right.
No pressure.
It's the most pressure. And I'll tell you what, I've never been like this before, but like a tennis player, they let the pressure get to them. Or the last set we did, I think it was the 5th song in the set. And up to that song, I was worried about it, every single song, until we played it. And then the rest of the gig was a breeze. It's the only song that's affected me like that ever since being in Priest. And it's such a big song. It means a lot to me because it's one of Glenn's, masterpieces. So it means a lot from that perspective as well. And every time I finish that solo correctly, or almost correctly, I breathe a sigh of relief every night. So the painkiller is a lot more forgiving. For some reason, I find it easier to play that stuff like One Shot at Glory or Electric Eye. Fine. The ballad, that was the one that got to me every night. That did.
Yeah. I get you. Well, listen, we're going to let you go. We just want to remind everybody one more time, you guys go out and pick up the Elegant Weapons album, Horns for a Halo. I read that the guys are already working on material for a 2nd album, so you guys be watching for that as well. One more time, get your tickets to Power Trip. Go to powertrip.live and pick those up. This is going to be such a rare and special festival, and everyone needs to go there. And by all means, Richie, we'll be watching for that new Priest release, hopefully in early 2024. We just want to thank you again for coming on with Tulsa Music Stream. Thank you so much for your time. Best wishes in the future. Stay well, stay healthy, and thanks for being such a gentleman to us.
Yeah, we love you, man.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully see you guys in Tulsa very soon. We always come back through Tulsa. And hopefully see you soon. Enjoy Power Trip. It's a monumental lineup. And again, hopefully see you with Weapons or with Priest very soon.
Absolutely.
And your next show for Elegant Weapons, that's July 30th. Was it in United Kingdom or something?
I think so.
It is. We're playing Wales in the United Kingdom, the Steelhouse Festival.
Fantastic.
It's at the top of a mountain, apparently. It should be quite nice.
Wow. We'll enjoy that show. You be safe out there. Thanks again. Have a great day, Richie.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All the best.
Take care. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So cool.
Wow. Thanks for, it was worth the wait.
Yeah. Well,
Woo.
he was in the middle of another interview.
Oh, is that what was
and
up?
So, he couldn't get in touch with them, but he was like, how do I get out of it? He was, what he was saying is, how do I get out of this? I got another interview to do. So they get kind of, tied up at times.
They do.
But his first show with Judas Priest was American Idol, and they did that was with James Durbin, and they got up and did Living After Midnight and Breaking the Law, and from then on he just became a staple in Judas Priest. I mean, he's one of the main guys in the band now, which is cool. And Rob Halford said that he felt that Richie saved Judas Priest, and I think that's a cool thing to have a legendary singer say about you.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up, but I mean, I'm sure plenty of people have reminded him of those comments. But yeah, when you're described by a guy like Rob Halford as saving his band, I mean, that's probably a comment you take to your grave with you with great appreciation for that kind of acknowledgement.
And I did want to ask him about the Elegant Weapons. He has a songwriting team that are two other guys who aren't in the band. So when I looked on Spotify, it showed like there was two other guys that he writes with. So that's cool. Very cool. I guess it's a Jay Darren and a Tommy McWilliams.
Really?
And him. They write the songs.
I also wanted to ask him, because I was a little surprised to read. I don't know why I'd say I was surprised. I mean, there's a lot of people that list Hendrix as their inspiration, but I guess Hendrix is why he picked up the guitar in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting, but I was just kind of surprised to read that, but that's super cool. He started playing at like 7 or 8. And I don't know if you knew this, but Steve Harris produced one of his early band called Deeds album in 2002.
Yeah.
Didn't get into that, but maybe there'll be a next time. Another nice guy in heavy metal. I mean, fantastic interview.
Thanks for waiting for us or with us for him to get on. That was a little stressful, but that's what happens when you go live and if they're behind the schedule, you gotta kind of wait that out. But thank you guys so much. That was cool. I just want to say thanks again to the people who were able to tune in live. We've got Rick Mellon here, Doug Weber, Jay Hoxo, I don't know, Angie Parker, Psych. I don't see that. So that's okay. Angel Wynn, great interview. Thank you, hon. We tried. That was awesome. Ricky Watson, great job, guys. Thank you. Jesse Millay, that's quite a compliment to get from anyone, let alone Halford. Wow, I agree with that. Jack Stovall, great interview. Thank you, Jack. Thanks, guys, so much for tuning in. Again, catch the replay. If you weren't able to catch this whole thing live, maybe you're just coming in now, just watch the replay. It'll be ready here in just a minute. Scott Seaman, good stuff. Thank you, my friend. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, shipmanphotos.com. Man, you guys want some killer business shots or band shots? These are your people. Shipmanphotos.com. Your branding done right. You can see some work they've done for us, not just for the stream here, but for our band as well. They've photographed many other bands out there. Their work is top notch. Go to shipmanphotos.com for your photography needs. Shout out to Doug Burgess. We're going to talk a little bit more about him in just a minute. DEBconcerts.com. Rocklahoma is right around the corner, you guys, and he's got his stage out there that's going to be rocking, the D&B processing stage at the Roadhouse. Make sure you go check that out at Rocklahoma. Psychomo Filmworks. He's working on a new intro for the show. We appreciate Psych. If you need video for your band or anything else, email psychomo@gmail.com. He'll hook you up. Shout out to Todd Cook at Identity Merch. If you guys want a Tulsa Music Stream shirt or a hoodie or a tank, you can go to our Facebook page, click the link at the top of the page, and it'll take you to the store where you can pick up some threads, sport the TMS logo around town. Dustin Little, if you have IT needs,
Okie PC is your place to go. Contact 918-640-0892 and he will take care of your IT needs. One more time, this Thursday we got a big one coming up, courtesy DEB Concerts. Don Dokken of Dokken will be on with us at 7 p.m. Central. We have a lot to talk about with him. It's going to be amazing. I have to go back to my day job now.
Yeah.
You are off for the rest of the day, lucky dog.
I'm going to do some power washing, though, maybe.
Power trip washing?
Yeah.
Say.
But thank you, guys. That was an amazing interview. It's always great to talk to these superstars.
Yep.
And, kind of pick their brain about guitars and tones, and I was hoping to get a title for the new album. That would have been a newsbreaker right there.
He shot you down.
But we do appreciate you. Thank you, Dustin Little, Don Dokken. Yeah, that is going to be cool. And Larry Ford says great interview.
Thanks, Larry.
Scott Seaman says good stuff. Jack Stovall says great interview.
I already
Thank
read
you.
that.
Okay, we're all good.
You're fine. There's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah,
here,
there is.
Know. All right, guys. Have a great first half of the week. We'll see you on Thursday for the second half of the week for our Don Dokken interview at 7 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching Tulsa Music Stream. We will catch you later this week. Have a great day.
Thank you.